Chris with Cycle Source Magazine, Greasing Gears TV, and I'm lucky enough today to spend some time here at Paughco in Carson City, Nevada. And I'm sitting with the man himself, Ron, who started this company, and we wanted to bring you guys inside a little bit. You know, we spent the last whole day touring the facility. It's amazing. They make so much cool stuff here. It's all made in-house. It's USA made. They take a lot of pride in the products that they make. But what I'm interested in and talking to you about is the story of the company, because I've heard this story myself personally, and I want to bring this to our readers.
Okay, it's still exciting for me to think about it. It's been a long time, but we started I started riding motorcycles in '65, and my dad had a machine shop, and after school I'd go to the machine shop and we'd try to make parts and stuff, and he'd help us with sissy bars and handlebars and, you know, help us with all the different parts that we needed. And finally, Boyd from D&D Cycle, Boyd de France, which kept approaching me because I'd go over there to work on the motorcycle. He kept approaching me to make the inner primary cover. And I'd go back to my dad because we had the proper equipment to do it. And I'd say, come on, Dad, let's make this inner primary. He'd say, we're not making no motorcycle parts to sell. You know, so I'd kind of drop it for now. Next time I go over to Boyd's, he'd hit me again with the same thing. He'd say, come on, let's get your dad to make this inner primary. I know he's got the tooling. So finally Dad agreed. He said, okay. This was in about '67. He agreed to make the inner primary. And we had one tool and die maker and myself. And when we had spare time, we'd work on the tooling. There was 14 different dies to make the inner primary. And it took us about 2 years to do it.
Yeah.
In 1969, the bottom fell out of the aerospace, and that's what we were doing. So we said, now's the time to start selling them. So we made a run of 500 inner primaries. We rented a Cadillac, a brand new Cadillac, because Dad said, we can't go in the old truck. We got to look like winners. Yeah. So we rented this brand new Cadillac, and I put 100 inner primaries in the trunk because they're so big. And I started from North Hollywood. I started going south and calling on every dealer that I could find. I made it to Laidlaw's Harley Davidson, which was only about 20 miles away. And he bought every one I had. They were $20 a piece at the time, ungrown. And he gave me a check for $2,000. And I got back to the shop and I showed my dad the check, and I said, Dad, I says, look, I sold them all the first day. And he says, by God, I think we hit the jackpot. And from there, it was the chain guard. We made the chain guard after that. Actually, I finished making the whole trip down to San Diego, stopping at all the dealers that I could find. And when a dealer would see the inner primary, that was the best salesman I had, because it did all the speaking for me. I didn't have to say nothing after I showed them the primary. They said, well, heck, if you can make a primary, you can make a chain guard.
Yeah. Or
you can make a carburetor cover. And I'd say, sure, no problem. So I'd take it back to my dad, and we'd tool up for it. Next thing you know, we had a chain guard, carburetor cover. And then in Santa Ana, there was Cheetah Engineering. I don't know if you remember that name.
Yeah.
Well, we stopped at Cheetah Engineering, and they made a lot of seats and sissy bars. And they were cutting their seats out with a torch and sanding them with a disc grinder. And I said, well, boy, we can help you with this. So we started making their seat plates, and I'd have to rent a 24-foot truck, and we'd put 1,000 seat plates in this truck and deliver them to Cheetah Engineering.
Wow.
They used to buy seats like you can't believe. Then after we made the trip to San Diego, then I turned around and went to San Francisco, stopping at every dealer that I could, and that was the last trip we made. We stopped at all the dealers, and we just went from there, just one thing after another. That was in '69 is when we actually opened for business. By '72, we put our chrome shop in because we were dependent upon what other shops could do. And we'd get in trouble because they would always back order. The polishers would blame it on the players.
Oh boy, today
would blame it on the polishers.
That's got to be a lifesaver today, because our industry's really hurting from the lack of chrome shops. I mean, they've closed left and right, and having your own solution built in has got to save your life.
Well, without that, we'd be dead, because 90% of the stuff we make is chrome plated.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lot of exciting things still going on. I mean, we're working on new frames all the time and exhaust pipes and handlebars. I've been doing this, I'm almost 70 years old now, and I've been doing it since I was a teenager. And to me, it's still as exciting today as it was back when I first started.
Well, you can see that's one of the things I love about coming here. Everyone in this building has a passion for what they're doing. You know, most of the stuff that I see it transfer from, you know, personal projects that they have worked up to legitimacy to enter in the product line. You know, that's fantastic in a company today.
It's so exciting to me to see how much all the employees enjoy working here. I mean, they like their job when they can see it in the magazine or on TV and people talk about it. It's rewarding to them. It's like, look, honey, I made this gas tanker. Look, I made these exhaust pipes. And, you know, they're proud to work here.
Now, incredible that the company starts from the tin inner primary is where all of this came from.
That's right.
What's the difference today? How many different product numbers do you have? How many different countries are you guys doing business with?
You know, to be honest with you, I'm not the best one to ask that question because we've got 4,000 or 5,000 product numbers in every free country in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how many number-wise, but it's every free country in the world.
What do you think your dad say today?
He sits right up above me every day. You know, on both, and I ask him questions all the time.
Do you?
Oh yeah. I don't want to do something. I don't want to blow this deal. You know, this has been too good of a thing. It's so much fun.
You know, this is the fun. The fun is what keeps those of us that stick around for more than a quick flash in the pan. The fun is what keeps you there. The work is a whole nother thing to speak of because, you know, back when you started this company, even though you guys sort of went on the fast track from taking a chance on something, there's still, like, it was a time where motorcycling wasn't getting the accolades or the cooperation from the general public, so there had to be a lot of work involved in making money from such a small industry.
Well, when we first started, Harleys weren't, you know, exciting like they are today. The bad guys were the only guys that had Harleys back when we started. And since then, Harley's turned it into a, you know, everyday sport for doctors, attorneys, bankers, anybody you can think of. So that it's okay now to have a Harley.
Yeah.
Back when we used to ride, you were, you know, a biker bum if you had a Harley.
Yeah.
But me and my buddy were the only two guys in high school with choppers. And the only reason we had choppers is because that's all we could afford.
Yeah.
They were selling 250 Honda Scramblers and Honda Dreams, but they were $700-800.
Yeah.
And back when I got my first bike, I paid $50 for a basket case knucklehead.
Oh my God.
And wrenched it together, and that was what I rode.
$50.
$50.
Wish you could go back now with a pocket full of money.
Isn't that the truth? Yeah.
So, I mean, what's kind of neat though, you know, in your history of Paughco, you've seen the ups and downs because motorcycling travels like a boat on the ocean. You know, you get the good times in the valleys, and we're in another valley right now, but it's neat because a lot of the young guys coming into this, they're that same mentality of the late 60s, early 70s guys, and, you know, are doing a lot of stuff themselves. This has to give you an edge because you have the vocabulary to speak to this new audience.
Well, the neat thing about the young guys is, you know, we have beginner style frames and stuff, and fairly inexpensive, a lot of the Sportster style frames, and we can sell those all day long, and that's where you get started. You buy a Sportster for $1,000, $1,200, and then you can slowly work into a custom bike with it, you know, with a frame and front ends and stuff like this. It's worked out really good for us.
So, one of the other benefits of coming here personally is getting to check in on your collection. I actually get to see a little bit more of it every time I come back, and man, it's just all these years of putting a special thing away here and there. And you know, I see this in my own office with, I keep all my little tchotchkes and knickknacks and stuff, but man, you just have such a mad collection. What's your favorite thing in all the stuff that you have? Do you have one that you pick out?
My favorite motorcycle is the motorcycle I'm working on at the time, or just looking at the time. They're all my favorites. In the office here, I've got 5 of probably the most rarest Harleys that you'd ever see in one spot. but they're all my favorites. We got the original Captain America that was actually in the movie, and a very low serial number 36, and an eight valve. These are bikes that, you know, people don't see it very often in one place,
Ever.
ever.
Yeah.
And then we have a lineup outside going down the hallway of, you know, from the 30s all the way up to the, you know, present.
Yeah, cutaways from the factory.
Cutaways, yeah.
So, you know, on the subject of rare motorcycles and the older stuff, Billy Lane last year started his Sons of Speed racing,
Right.
and I was telling some of your guys that he's opened this up now to have a 45 class. Now,
See,
a few years back, you guys started a whole program for single loop 45 frames, and
well, we knew how many of them were sitting around as doorstops, motors that were just sitting there and never would have a chance to live again. And that's when we decided to make a special frame where you could put a 45 motor in it and a 4-speed transmission and have a, you know, a bike that was fairly inexpensive and would be a cool looking bike.
yeah.
That would be perfect for the racers.
Oh man, that's what I'm thinking too. So hey, you know, you guys that are looking to get into Billy's racing now that he's opened up that 45, Paughco's got you covered. Come check out, you know, the beginning of your project right here for sure.
And after we did the 45 motor in the frame, we started thinking about the Sportster, because there's a lot of Sportster motors that blow the transmission,
Yeah,
and then you just shit can the whole deal. Well, this way we figured out how to cut the tranny off of it, weld motor mounts on it, and design the motor where you can put it in any 74 frame to where it opens up our whole line of frames any style you want. Put a Sportster motor in it.
yeah. This is trick, and this is something we're going to be bringing out in the magazine real soon. But that whole concept is fantastic, because I've seen one or two guys here or there that end up taking the initiative to do that themselves when they blow out the
Right.
trap door, the tranny, and
Exactly.
match it up with a belt drive and a, you know, four speed tranny. But you guys are talking about doing this as a whole offering.
We've actually tooled up for it. We've tooled up to do the motor on the CNC machines and weld it together. We've got the fixtures all made to weld it together. And Steve came up with the idea of putting it in any 74 frame.
Yeah,
So with a little modification, we can do that.
yeah.
We're excited about it. It's gonna be a good deal.
It's a great product. And I mean, a lot of the stuff, you know, on this visit, we covered stuff you guys are doing with Chris Richardson. Obviously, my project with the FXR chassis that accepts the touring driveline,
Right.
that's something neat. And it just seems like, because your guys are street level scooter guys, all that information comes back. You guys are always reacting to what's actually happening in the real world. It's so good to see that.
Well, that's what's made it so exciting, because we can do stuff today that people use tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know, it's not something you have to build a market for. The market's already there.
You know,
So it's been really exciting.
what's next?
Well, we just finished our Dynaframe. I think you guys did an article on that. We expect that to be big,
Yeah.
because right now all Dynas that are being wrecked, or you can pick up pretty reasonable, and that could get you into a nice looking bike pretty quick.
You know,
We're constantly working on new exhaust pipes, new handlebars, new gas tanks, new oil tanks. It's just never ending.
just continue to evolve with what's going on.
Yeah, and as long as we got the guys that are excited about it and business to back it up, we're not going to stop.
Right on. Well, it's an absolute pleasure to be here with you, man. I appreciate you guys taking the time and letting us dig on all your old stuff. It's always great to come here. Thank you so much.
We like having you just as much as you like being here, and you're welcome anytime.
Right on. So, hey, man, check out their whole line of products at Paughco.com. You can watch in the magazine for stuff that we're going to be doing with the bike that we're calling the War Pony, which is the FXR chassis. We got release stuff coming out on their Sportster program, their Dyna stuff, and we'll keep you posted from here in Carson City. I'm Chris with Cycle Source Magazine, Greasing Gears TV.